blue suede shoes and I boarded the plane. Touchdown in the land of the Delta Blues, in the middle of the pouring rain. W.C. Handy, won't you look down over me? Yeah, I got a first class ticket, but I'm as blue as a boy can be. Then I'm walking in Memphis, was walking with my feet 10 feet off a field. Walking in Memphis, losing my voice. Do you really feel the way I feel? Saw the ghost of Elvis walking down Union Avenue. Followed him up. This is a great song, Walking in Memphis by Marc Cohn. Came out in 1991. I remember, man. I remember when the song came out. This song's actually a request from my good friend Brian. He asked me if I could do a video on this. So Brian, this is for you, brother. Him and his wife Jessica just had twins recently, so I want to wish them the very best. Back in 91, there wasn't internet yet. I don't remember having internet till like in the mid 90s. No Facebook, no YouTube, no TikTok, you know, so it's like, but I remember hearing the song on the radio, and I first thought it was Bruce Hornsby in the range because I always loved his piano. I just remember hearing it going, whoever plays that, I gotta learn how to play it. The good news is, as beautiful as this song is, it's very beginner friendly. It's in an easy key, it's in the key of C, no sharps or flats. It uses, basically the whole song has 4 chords, almost the whole entire song until he gets to that bridge, and I'll show it to you guys. Without further ado, let's go to an overhead view and I will show you guys exactly how to play Walking in Memphis by Marc Cohn. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to show you guys this song in parts. As always, I'm going to break it down in parts. The first is the intro. When he does that, then when he comes down, which is still an F, G, C, A minor structure, it's just he comes down when he does the W.C. Handy. W.C. Handy, won't you look down over me? And he does that part, and then he comes down. So that's, I don't want to call that part 2 because that's still part 1. It's still the intro and then the verse. And then when he goes, the chorus, walking with my feet 10 feet off a Beale, walking in Memphis. It's still F, G, C, A minor, but it's just he's lower. So we'll call that part 2 though because that's the chorus. And then sometimes, not the first chorus, but the second and third, he does an F, G, A minor. So he changes it up a little bit, and I'll show you that. I'll take you through the song from beginning to end. I'll show you how he ends it. And part 3 is that little, it's kind of short, but it's that weird little thing he does right after the second chorus, or right after the first chorus, when he goes, do you really feel the way I feel? Instead of going back to the F, G, C, A minor, he does like it's like a F. He goes right back in. I saw the ghost of Elvis walking down Union Avenue, and I think he tracks over it. I mean, I listened to it, and so you could do that for the first few, and you could do it that way, or you could go right back into the F. But he does do that differently. So that's part 3. Part 4 is the bridge when he goes. There's weird chords, C7, sus4, and I'll show you those. We've got Catfish on the Table, we've got Gospel in the Air, and then Reverend Green, that E7, be glad to see you. And when you haven't got that F sharp diminished, those are a couple weird chords, and then he ends on the G, and then right from there is when he goes, boy, you got a prayer in Memphis. Right before he does the Muriel, the verse with the Muriel plays piano. So let's call that part 4. And then part 5 we'll say is the ending, because the ending is kind of cool. It's still that F, G, C, A minor, but he starts up real high on the intro, like the intro, and he comes way down and does the figure all the way down to the ending. So he does like in the middle of the pouring, and then he goes, rain. the song on the C chord. So I'll show you all. I'll take it just from beginning to the very end. So those are the 5 parts. Let's start with the intro. So here we go. So the intro, he's using a full octave on the. He starts with an F. So your left hand, the way I do it is that your left hand's going to be on the F up here. So it's basically F, G, C, A. But he does the full octave. He finishes up the F chord on the full octave. So he's doing. Put on my blue suede shoes and I boarded the plane. And he's playing it. Touchdown on the land of the Delta Blues in the middle of the pouring rain. So he's doing the same thing when he comes down, but your ear catches that it's something different. Again, it's a little trick that artists use. He's still on the F, G, C, A minor, but he's just coming down. Instead of starting up high, he's going, W-C handy, won't you look down over me? Which I think this part is a little easier because your left hand's right here. Instead of. And he skips that 4th note. The first 3 notes is just a 3. He doesn't go. He skips that C. So the very start of the song, I'll do it slow, goes. Put on my blue suede shoes and he starts singing, boarded the plane. So he's doing that part, and he keeps doing it. Down in the land of the Delta Blues, in the middle of the pouring rain. Now here's where he comes down. W-C handy, won't you look down over me? And that Muriel part's the same thing. Yeah, I got a first class ticket, but I'm as blue as a boy can be. Jumping into part 2 from part 1, he goes, but I'm as blue as a boy can be. Then I'm walking in Memphis. F, G, C, A minor. Do you really feel the way? He goes F, G, and then that's when he does that. Saw the Ghost of Elvis. Okay, so real quick, the chorus once again, and that's the first chorus. The chorus is an F, G, C, A minor. And all the choruses do that. The only difference is the second and third chorus. On the second line, he goes. See that? How he, instead of going F, G, C, A minor, he just goes F, G, A minor. Walking in Memphis, do you really feel the way I feel? Okay, so let's back up a little bit. So once again, part 2 is that walking in Memphis. All he's doing is he's going F, G, C, A minor. F, G, feel the way I feel. And then I'll show you this part. So this is part 3. Now we're into part 3. He goes, saw the ghost of Elvis on Union Avenue. Followed him up to the gates of Graceland, and I watched him walk right through. Now here's where he comes back to the, and security did not see him. They just hovered around his tomb. There's a pretty little thing for the king down in the jungle room. And then it goes from an F and then C. I was walking in Memphis. And then then right back into that part 2. And then the next set of 4, he comes back to the original configuration. You can hear that go right back to the F, G. Security, they did not see him. They just hover around his tomb. There's a pretty little thing waiting for the king. Down in the jungle. And then it skips the G. It just goes, down in the jungle room. F and then C. So he goes, and I was walking in. And then right back, we're at the second chorus, which is the same as part 2. The only difference is the second and third chorus, he goes, walking with my feet 10 feet off a Beale. And he comes to the A minor on line 2. Then he goes, walking in Memphis, third line. Do you really feel the way I feel? Walking in Memphis. And he repeats it. See the difference? So I mean, you could play it how you want it, but I play by ear, and when I listen to it, he's going F, G, A minor on that second line, and he repeats it. He does it 4 times, and then right when he gets to the end of the second chorus, do you really feel the way I feel? Okay, that's part 3. That's where we're into those weird I don't, maybe it's part 4. I'm losing count here. So now we're into part 4. Part 4 is that weird bridge when he goes, there's catfish on the table. We've got gospel in the air. Reverend Green will be glad to see you when you haven't got a prayer. And he does like a, he ends on the G though. So basically that part 4, and I'm going to do videos of chords. I promise you guys I will. I just have a couple more songs to do. I will show you all the ways to get to the the C7, sus4, which this is, and in the E7. I'll show you how to get to them. For right now, just bear with me. So that bridge is a C7, sus4, and a C7. So it's basically called a C7, sus4. A C, that's a C chord. A C, that's a full octave C. A C7 is that. A lot of bluesy, you know, Billy Joel uses a lot of 7 chords. And what that means is the 7th, it's called a dominant 7th C. To make it even more complicated, it's a C7 sus4. We've got catfish on the table. They've got gospel in the air. So he's basically going back and forth from a C7 sus4 to a C7. And sometimes he just stays on the C7 sus4. But anyway, without getting too confused, forget the B flat right now. It's just a C, and that's a C sus4. But you're adding the B flat in there to make it a 7, a C7. We've got catfish on the table. We've got gospel in the air. He just goes back and forth between those two. And then the Reverend Green from that C comes down. He comes down to an E7. Reverend Green will be glad to see you. And then an F and a B flat over F to an F. He does like a, and you haven't got, so that's a common chord, the F and then the B flat over F. But this is really, I mean, I had to look it up. The F sharp diminished 7. It just, you guys are never going to use these chords, and sometimes you'll have to look them up. So an F sharp chord is that, but an F sharp diminished is that. You're lowering the top 2 notes, and again, it's a very uncommon chord. You're never going to use it. So it goes, and you haven't got, right there, when you haven't got a prayer, and then he goes to the G. Or he does like a G, C, G, all over G. And he holds the pedal. And here's where he gets to the Muriel. Once more, the bridge chords are C7 sus4, C7 C7, C7 sus4, C7. Reverend Green is an E7. We'll be glad to see you as an F, and then B flat over F. When you haven't got that F sharp diminished 7, which you're never going to use, but there it is. A prayer. And he does a G, and he holds the pedal and gets right back into the Muriel verse. Boy, you got a prayer in Memphis. Now Muriel plays piano, and he does this part every Friday at the Hollywood. And they brought me down to see her, and they asked me if I would I do a little number. And I sang with all my might. So all he's doing, he's still doing that F, G, C, A minor, but he's just down an octave. She said, tell me, are you a Christian child? And I said, ma'am, I am tonight, walking in Memphis. And so it does that same F, waiting for the king, F, and then a C. And I was walking in Memphis, walking with my feet 10 feet off a Beale. So there you go. I'm losing track, but I believe we're right back into part 3. Walking with my feet 10 feet off a Beale. Remember, he comes to the A minor on the second line. Walking in Memphis. A minor, walking in Memphis, but do you really feel? Feel, and then right when he says feel, we're getting to the end of the song. He goes, do you really feel the way I feel? So he's doing the same configuration as the Muriel. Now Muriel plays piano. He's down. I think it's easier. Like I say, this part. So it's. And then he'll do a put on my blue suede shoes and I boarded the plane, touchdown in the land of the Delta Blues, in the middle of the pouring rain. Then he goes, touchdown in the land of the Delta Blues. An A minor, and then he'll go, and then he goes, in the middle of the pouring F G, and then rain. He does just like the intro, the F up here and the G up here. Rain. Then he comes down. And he ends on the C chord. And the song ends on the C. That is it, guys. Walking in Memphis by Marc Cohn. Another great one is True Companion. I will do that in a future video. That's a beautiful love song. It's about I was at someone's wedding years ago, and this was their wedding song, the husband and the wife. It's called True Companion. I believe that's on the same album, the '91 album, and that's on it's in a different key. I believe it's an A, but I'll show you guys that. It's a beautiful piano song. So there it is by Marc Cohn, Walking in Memphis by Marc Cohn, 1991. You guys have a terrific night, and I will see you guys all in the next one.